context of the side plane flower, if we've only looked at overhand, then the other three directions are underhand, side opposite right, and side opposite left. And it's almost always the case, I'm going to say there are exceptions, but it's almost always the case that if you can do it, actually there may be no exceptions, but let's just say not all of them are obvious. If you can do it in one direction, you can do it in the other three directions, generally speaking. So if this is the two-petal flower in overhand, this is the two-petal flower in underhand. And then these two become a companion pair that allow you to turn between them. They are each other's partners, overhand and underhand, on the side plane. Then you could also do this is side opposite left, although I don't do this flower, but it can be done, where you do bottom petal, top petal, bottom petal, top petal. I don't do this flower because I think that the bottom petal gets lost behind your body a lot, and I don't think it flows in a turn quite the way the same direction one does. But that's just my opinion, so don't let my preferences become your limitations. Just because I don't prefer it doesn't mean you won't. And that's always true about anything I'm teaching. I guess technically, the equivalent would be one up and one down. The problem is, I can't move my body the way is necessary to get it to do this part of it, where this one comes down at the same time this one goes up, because the way you have to move your body, my left would have to go, it's very awkward for both of them to move at the same time. So I modify it to two petals where I'm doing this down here, and this up here, and this down here, and this up here, and this down here, and then this is its companion, where you have the right overhand and the left underhand. Although personally, I prefer this version of it, where you're doing it out at the sides. This is the other two petal. So instead of, like, in the same direction, it would look like this. And then in opposite direction, it would look like this. Of course, you can also turn left and you can turn right with all of them. And then there's just, all these infinite variations of different things you can do. And then that was just one two petal. You could do it with all the four petals. You could do it with the in-spin. You could do it with the anti-spin. And then you can start partnering them together, right? So you could have your four petal in-spin with your four petal anti-spin with your two petal in-spin, right? So my left is going in-spin, my right is going anti-spin. But then, you can switch them. But then you could switch them. And then there's all these other ways that you could just combine and mix and match and put it all together, and it's forever. Well, you can't do turning around until you know the companion move. We've only done overhand. So we have to do the overhand, then we have to do the underhand. I think it's very difficult to measure flowers. The only really good way to measure your because with a weave, if you're trying to learn the weave, you tangle, and that's direct feedback that you fucked up. When you're doing a flower, you can fake it the entire way through, and it's not necessarily obvious that your petal is too far forward or that your plane is really skewed, right? These are things that are much more subtle to be measuring. I think it's more difficult to measure your progress with flowers because there is no direct show-stopping movement, like a drop with a toss or a tangle with a weave or something like that. And I think the best way to actually measure your progress is to take video of yourself, because there will be a difference when you're flagging when you're doing it, where it's like all this wobbly, right? You're wobbly now. There will be a difference when you get to this. And you can control it. But you're not gonna really be able to feel that necessarily. So you'll want video so that you can see that and you can measure it. And this is why video is better than a mirror, because you don't want to be looking in a mirror while you're doing it, because you'll be creating a bias in your body, turning your body looking that way. And this is where video is helpful. I think flowers are incredibly deceptive. They look incredibly easy and simple. They are simple, but they're not really easy. And to get them with mastery, where you have a fluidity and a grace and tension on the line the entire time, and you have perfect placement and you have the right timing, and you can turn with them and it feels good, that is a high bar that might take more than 2 weeks, just saying.